many parts of Southeast Asia, people greet each other with the phrase "吃饱了吗?" which means "have you eaten?" That's one way to say "how are you?" Inspired by our love for our local food, the theme of today's event is sneaking and snacking in the city. The Placemaker e-Weekend ASEAN Bandung is the second regional Placemaker Week event in ASEAN. The first Placemaker Week ASEAN was organized in Kuala Lumpur last year, and we are lucky to have Jeffing, one of the organizers, here today as our speaker. We are now on our second day and the last day of this event. Thank you again for joining us. We had a lively session yesterday. Charles Landry showed us the different ways people incorporate play in placemaking. Daniel Lim presented how he has used food as a placemaking tool in Penang, Malaysia. Jill Karangay talked about urban acupuncture in Cebu, Philippines. And Faisha Putri shared her experience designing a digital placemaking platform in Bandung. Stella Gui presented her food truck project in Singapore. And finally, Sienna Wilders presented a few placemaking case studies from her book, The City at Eye Level Asia. She has also shared the link to this ebook, which is free to download. I'm going to post it in the chat box later. Today, we again have a lineup of speakers with in-depth knowledge and rich experiences in placemaking. There are two parts to this event. The first part is the webinar, and on the second part, we will go on an urban game adventure with JalanJajan team in Bandung. Make sure that you don't miss this because it is fun. This event will end with a closing remark from Tita Larasati, the chairperson of Bandung Creative City Forum, which is the organizer of this event. Now, let us open the Placemaker e-Weekend ASEAN 2020 Day 2 with a keynote speech by Ethan Kent. Ethan Kent works to support placemaking.
I'm about to start talking.
I'm going to introduce you, Ethan. Ethan Kent works to support placemaking organizations, projects, and leadership around the world to grow the global placemaking movement and build systemic change towards place-led urbanization. In 2019, he co-founded Placemaking X to network and accelerate placemaking for global impact. Ethan has more than 2 decades of experience working on public spaces and placemaking campaigns with Project for Public Spaces, traveling to more than 1,000 cities and towns and 60 countries. Ethan has been integral to the development of placemaking as a transformative approach to economic development, environmentalism, transportation planning, governance, resilience, social equity, and design. So let us welcome Ethan. Please go ahead, Ethan.
Hi, Mariki, and hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me be part of this conversation. This is such a great group and a wonderful way to build on the extraordinary conference we had a year ago all together in around Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur and Penang. And thanks to Ping for organizing that. And she's looking forward to hearing from her shortly. I love the theme you mentioned of around food, and certainly thanks to Ping and many others and visits around the ASEAN region, I've experienced part of that, but missing that right now, and missing that connection. But I want to mention that the placemaking and public spaces has always really centered around food, and one of the William White, who was sort of the mentor of us and the placemaking movement, he famously said many times that if you want to seed a place, put out food. So food is the anchor for great public spaces, for conversation, for culture, and shows the great placemaking skill and quality of that's so abundant in the ASEAN region. So I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see. So I'm going to sort of give a general overview around placemaking, and I think many of you are familiar with a lot of this, and there's great expertise that we've come to know. I've been in the ASEAN region for over 10 years, and Ping has brought a lot of people to Malaysia for over a decade, and with Think City, and when she was there doing training and capacity building. But a lot of our work is drawing out the expertise that's already there, helping people realize they're already experts in a lot of these issues, and connecting people locally. Often the skills are there, but need to be more broadly connected. And then, of course, we'll talk about Placemaking X, is how we're trying to connect that learning, that resources, that action on a global level. So this image has sort of gone viral in the last few months. And we actually were able to figure out who took it, and Chan Mei Young in Kala, Myanmar. And I think it actually spoke to people all around the world, and that it really reflects how we need to rethink public space in today's, the various crises that we're facing all parts of the world right now, offer an opportunity to rethink our streets, our public realm, our food systems, and how we sort of build back from the centers of our community, how we reinvent our local economy, our culture, and our communities in these spaces. And it really has inspired, actions in different ways and all over the world. I'll show you how in New York we have over 10,000 streeteries. We have open streets that are, we've closed streets to traffic for the first time in all the neighborhoods all over the city. But we actually still need to really focus on vendors and vending and markets as parts of streets as well. Let's see. Somehow I'm not getting the advance. There we go. So that image and placemaking in general sort of reflect a convergence of many different causes and issues that can be drawn together by the focus on place. And we're seeing on all scales, whether it's on a community scale, citywide, or globally, how if you bring people to the table that are maybe focused on economic development or equity issues or local food or transportation or sustainability, how the creativity of a focus on place can draw out the best in many of them, but also disrupt their silos to an extent. Can take them out of their sort of narrow, sometimes narrow set of solutions, or the tendency for different disciplines or silos to speak to just their own group. So place is a convergence force, but it's also a way to ground the conversation in practical aspects, in the conversation that's accessible to everybody. That's not a rarefied, professionalized language. It's a way to bring common sense and scale change. But it also is a response to really a global crisis of disconnection to place, of disconnection to each other, and of a degradation of place. And this image is one of the types of images that if you Google the future of cities, this is what you get. And we've had sort of drilled into our mind by the media, by advertising, by sort of the high-end architecture, that this is a good future. But it actually, if you actually think about it, this is really a placeless experience. This is about objects, about movement, not about place. It's not about people. It's not about local culture. It's not actually about innovation or the spaces that would actually yield new ideas, new culture, new collaboration. This is late stage capitalism, late stage innovation at best. And while it looks fantastical, unfortunately, cities all around the world are building to this to an extent. And when I was in Jakarta, actually, several years ago, I arrived late at night, opened the shades from my hotel window, and this was the view that I had. And this is how that, in a sense, how that imagery is playing out in many parts of the world, and I think in many parts of the ASEAN region. We're more defining new development instead of what's perceived as modern, sometimes with isolated buildings that are internalized, that ignore or even worse, degrade the street, that prevent the walkability, the connection to place, the collaboration that's possible, and prevent the sort of equitable public spaces that bridge difference, and anchor people to the place, and create that lovability. So, we've gone through this era where we're defining, and when I was in Jakarta, I was actually the keynote in Architecture Biennale. And, unfortunately, the architecture world has been sort of dominated by a narrow goal to create objects, to create statements that are different from everything else. So if we're leading the shaping of the built environment with a narrow goal of design to create a beautiful building. And this is a beautiful building that won a Pritzker Prize and shaped, a whole era of architecture. But the goal wasn't, they weren't asking architects to create places, which is even more interesting and more challenging for them. So this picture I took on my honeymoon in Bilbao, and these two men actually mugged a tourist couple of their camera right after I took the picture. And I learned from the police that people get mugged right here all the time. This place could be designed to, it would cost less to make it much safer, more friendly, the center of the city, but because it's so much about the building, the object to look at, they couldn't soften the space. They couldn't add activity and life to it. So, but also, of course, transportation planning has been very narrowly defined around moving traffic and cars, and is accordingly degrading the safety, comfort, economic viability of our public realm throughout. This is in Cuba. We actually had a placemaking week in Cuba this past week, where they're organizing a local placemaking network, a placemaking Cuba network. But of course, in the U.S. has done this, worse than anybody, and we're exporting a lot of our mistakes. This is in New Jersey, not far from where I am in New York right now. This is the experience of how people spend a lot of their time in this country. It's not efficient, but we force ourselves to drive further and further. We degrade the destinations we're meant to bring people to. The transportation spending, it causes more and more spending, more and more time wasted. And fewer places to go that actually create the happiness, well-being, economic vitality, the connection that we all depend on to survive and thrive. But it's not just about being against the car and traffic. It's about being for people and places. And we led a campaign in New York to reinvent our street space back in 2006, 2007, and to sort of connect many different advocacy communities and start to do experimentations on what public space could be like. And in Times Square, the partners all did this temporary transformation of the street, but once you experience that, you can't take it back. And so it's often about informality. And here in Times Square, they didn't have the fancy chairs. They didn't come in time. They had to go to the hardware store to get these chairs. And it actually made it more comfortable, more accessible, more, more informal, essentially. And we were talking in Cuba the past week, there's incredible, the informal culture and informal use of streets there is such a great asset. And the way children feel safe there and are respected and supported to use the public realm to play in, to be part of their community, is something that we've lost in so many more developed parts of the world. And so how, as parts of the ASEAN region are developing quickly, how do you build with this at the center? How do you preserve and support the public life, the informal life, the joy, and particularly the children as central? How do you attract investment and development that adds to and builds from this type of use that is in your cities? In Nairobi, they've had many placemaking weeks, a lot of conversations, but a lot of them have actually been about doing experiments right on the street and having the conversations there in those spaces, and they have led to more permanent transformations of the downtown that was just totally clogged with traffic, wasn't really working for anybody, including cars. The city that that we've sort of had the most placemaking experiences in is Detroit. And there, we put a beach right as the city was declaring bankruptcy. We put this temporary low-cost improvement, this beach right at the center of the city, that sort of anchored and became the symbol for the sort of a revival for the city. Again, the informality, the comfort of it, it made many different people, tourists, locals from different parts of the cities, rich, poor, feel welcome and comfortable in the space. But more than that, the sort of larger narrative for Detroit has been that it's not just a city you consume, because it's not as livable or doesn't have the same infrastructure or economic activity that a lot of other cities have, but it's inviting people to help shape it. And so for cities that are not complete or fully developed, this can be a great comparative advantage, that you can invite people that have lived there forever or new people that are coming to help shape the city, not just to consume it. Don't just market its beauty or its tourism or its infrastructure, because that creates a passive engagement. Invite people, locals or tourists or investors, to be part of shaping it, and don't let any one of them control it or dominate it. Make it a big debate around how public spaces should be used, and layer their different needs, their different ideas into the public realm. In Mexico City, there's great actually interest and a lot of funding for public spaces for the capital projects, but the limiting factor there time and time again is the public process and the governance and management of the space. And Guillermo Bernal, who's also part of Placemaking X, has done a lot of projects there now around Mexico with UN Habitat and with a lot of corporate partners actually, to build capacity for placemaking, build governance groups, and with often this short-term, lighter, quicker, cheaper type placemaking. So William White, who I mentioned, was the mentor of the placemaking movement, really. He said, it's hard to create a space that will not attract people. What is remarkable is how often this has been accomplished. And again, this is a square, Piazza del Campo in Siena, where as you get in the edges of the square, everyone's very formal. They're stiff. They're still getting comfortable. And as you go into the space, the centers of these spaces are more and more informal. People lie down, they connect. There's more and more affection, more and more joy, but it's contagious, and everyone's sort of drawn into it, and everyone becomes more relaxed, more like they feel like a local. The more you come into the space, and the more you relax, and the more you actually add to everybody else's experience. Yet you can't just create these spaces through design alone. This is Boston City Hall Plaza. This picture my father took 40 years ago looks pretty much the same today, despite many efforts to just design interventions to improve it. So we have to learn more and more that it's about the process through which spaces are created, how it's managed and programmed, and how the design comes out of that process. And it can be iterative and needs to be more flexible. It needs to be designed to be managed and programmed. So we shape our public spaces thereafter. Our public spaces shape us. These 8 ladies, my father took this picture in Sydney, Australia, of them trying to cross this street. And this is the kind of experience that people in downtowns all over the world have that prevents them from feeling welcome there, from feeling comfortable, from wanting to shop there again. But I was actually just there this time last year, and they've just pedestrianized, or they've taken out car traffic from the street, and now you can there's just transit and walking. And this is something actually Gale Architects I was there working with Gale Architects, and was part of planning. But it's a real tipping point for Sydney and for cities all around the world. This is in New Zealand, in Auckland, where they're taking a lot of these ideas even further. This is the woman with the red hair there, works for the big public development corporation. They're running their placemaking program, and they're moving. They're leading with lovability. How do you make the city not just livable but lovable? With building capacity for placemaking, and looking really heavily at indigenous placemaking as well. So they're also going to working on getting cars off of their main street, which is right here. But if you can have connections in the street like this, if you can feel comfortable to embrace people in the middle of the street, that you're much more likely to feel a deeper connection to your place and to be able to contribute to it. And the serendipity that follows, these people just bumped into each other serendipitously in the street. So what great places create serendipity, and serendipity creates great places. It becomes this virtuous cycle of placemaking. So New York right now is an extraordinarily serendipitous place as well. We've certainly gone through challenging times, and we have a long ways to go. But the city's creativity is being unleashed. There's an incompleteness. There's people, facing challenging times, but there's also a time of entrepreneurship. And one of the ways that's being fostered is through these open streets programs and through the streeteries, and how they've closed streets to traffic, and they're just letting businesses figure out how to better use these streets to support their local economies, local social life, children that need places to play. And it's quite magical. We're all feeling this sort of freedom to recreate, to be part of the city, to fall in love with the city again. And the tensions about how do we best use this space, and the healthy debates that placemaking thrives on, and who should it be for. But people are during these open streets projects, when the cars are removed, all of a sudden the social life emerges in this very serendipitous way. People are sitting on the ground on the streets like they never would have before, and that again just everybody, it's contagious in that everybody around them wants to relaxes and connects a little deeper and smiles at each other if they don't know each other. The Dumbo neighborhood, frankly, the neighborhoods that are opening up their streets and allowing this experimentation in informality. In some ways, this looks like that first picture from Myanmar. Those are the streets and the neighborhoods that are thriving. And if you're outside of these districts they're pedestrianized, they're actually quite threatened. There's not a lot of life in them. The stores and the retail are not doing as well. So it's a little bit of a race, and I think this is true around the world, to reinvent your streets as places, and the areas that attract people and allow people to help shape them will be the areas that thrive most in the future. Chinatown here as well, obviously has an innate ability to use these streets in this more lively ways, and it's really dynamic to be part of. And then there's also closing streets for children that need to get outside, that for schools, in experimenting in all sorts of ways. So this, as people are being allowed to be part of their streets, in a sense, they're learning what placemaking is. They're learning they have these placemaking skills. And so placemaking is, it's a phrase we started using 25 years ago to describe what was then sort of, a process that we developed of engaging people and respecting their expertise. But of course, it's much broader than that. It's some people are innovating and learning about placemaking all over the world. It's just an ongoing question of how do we best work together to shape our public spaces for shared value. But what's really important also is we want people to, there's an MIT study that found that the biggest benefit of placemaking isn't just the improved place, it's actually the improved social capital, the improved community, the improved capacity that's built through the process of placemaking, through the focus on place, how it makes comfortable and possible relationships, creativity, comfort that isn't possible otherwise. So Placemaking X is a new organization that I'm going to talk more about that is really connecting, applying those principles of placemaking to the larger placemaking community, of respecting and growing the expertise globally, building our shared actions and impact, and growing and demonstrating how placemaking is and can be a global movement. But its roots of this movement are with Jane Jacobs and William White in the 60s and 70s. It really challenged a lot of the dominant models of urban development that that started in the U.S. Around leading with big developments and car-oriented development projects. William White started something called the Street Life Project in the early 70s. My father, Fred Kent, actually worked with him on that. And then my father founded Project for Public Spaces to put into practice a lot of the findings of that Street Life Project that was really looking at how do we get user-centered design, user-centered planning of public spaces into the forefront. That public spaces wasn't really a topic or a cause, and certainly studying how people use them and learning from how they use public spaces to shape the design was not a focus back then. But Project for Public Spaces was founded to apply this and grow it further. And of course, there was a lot of common sense ideas that are still not yet accepted by a lot of the leading disciplines shaping the public realm. So we, of course, we developed placemaking as a means to not just apply our expertise, but to start to really crowdsource and draw on the expertise in local communities. And we first started thinking of it as a global movement back in around 2006. And we launched it in 2013 at a conference in Detroit that brought together people from around the world. We also started at that time, a little before that actually, with UN Habitat, trying to make public space and placemaking a global cause with a series of conferences called the Future of Places conferences that had the goal of getting public space and placemaking principles into the new urban agenda. And we succeeded to that to a large degree there. So in 2018, the movement started to self-organize around regional networks, around regional conferences, and we had a conference in Wuhan, China, a placemaking week there, meant to launch a network there. We're hoping to continue that in a conference in the Pearl River Delta in the next year, but also want to connect all these Asian conferences. There's also one being planned for Japan as well. But we launched Placemaking X last year at Valencia at Placemaking Europe's conference. Placemaking Europe is one of the strongest, most organized networks, and they helped launch it. And then we did launches at conferences all around, all over the world last year. Luckily, in person before the coronavirus really hit. But we launched the placemaking movement back in Detroit in 2013 with this key idea. That my father said, that is, everyone has the right to live in a great place. More importantly, everyone has the right to contribute to making the place where they already live great. So these have been some of the other conferences that we've been a part of, helped organize, that are really shaping the global conversation and have been launching and supporting regional networks. There's many more to add as well. And we'll want to add you guys here as well. So, and placemaking, it's a word we kind of made up. It had been used a little bit here and there, but part of the beauty of that is that people are still debating and competing how to define it, which we think is an important part of the placemaking process of what it is and what it means. And people are using the word in other languages as well, and which we don't always feel comfortable with, that sort of impose a new word, but it can be useful too to have this sort of common learning around the world. And it is being used fairly equally on social media, as this graph shows. So now we have regional placemaking networks that are emerging, in various, some of these are further along than others, and some of them have, websites and formal governance structures and, and budgets and such. Some of them are more informal, but also doing great things in that way. Some of the more recent ones, there's one, Placemaking Pakistan is a more recent one. Japan is just emerging. India has had a couple events and is organizing a big conference next year. But Placemaking New Zealand, actually, now they're calling themselves Aotearoa. They've been around for about 10 years. They just had their placemaking week a couple weeks ago. And really have a strong and deep sort of placemaking community built there. But all these networks are really eager to connect with each other globally. They want to support networks that are emerging, and they all have expertise in different areas and to share, that they're excited to share about. So the mission of Placemaking X is to be a global network of leaders who together accelerate placemaking as a way to create healthy, inclusive, and beloved communities. And our vision is to make the spaces we live into the places we love, to create a thriving, equitable, and sustainable world through the convergence of values, passion, and action around our public spaces. So we try to do this on all scales, supporting people to do projects, the placemakers to do short-term, low-cost interventions. But no matter what project it is, we think it's important to be looking at systemic change as well, looking at making sure we're not just perpetuating the existing status quo or preventing deeper change. So placemaking is always about asking those big questions, asking questions about equity and affordability and fairness and sustainability and health, and how can a placemaking project and process help address those more systemically. But we're also about amplifying the stories that people that are doing this all around the world, and that a lot of people we find are doing this, but are doing it alone in their community, and they're not appreciated or understood, or they don't feel supported by a larger community beyond them. So it's about amplifying them, and then it's of course, how do we scale up impact? How do we start to think bigger? We've gotten a lot of momentum. Placemaking starting to become an understood concept, and the imagery is going viral around the world. But how do we make sure it's not just about the stuff and the short-term stuff, but about really shaping land use and reinventing our cities, our transportation systems, our governance, our built environments, and how does place really reinvent and accelerate change around economies? How does it localize our economies to make them more resilient, and diversify and make them more equitable as well? So Cecilia Martinez, who was one of the leaders of UN Habitat, she helped us sort of get a lot of this going in many different phases, said, we're creating a global movement to shape spaces into places. So spaces are important. It's important to have public space, but if it's not a place unless it has purpose and meaning to the people that live there. So placemaking is an additive idea. Place is an additive idea that is actually limitless. It's almost like love. It's not a limited resource. Place, people can have infinite amounts of purpose and meaning in a space, and they often can be quite complementary. There's sometimes that different people's goals and understandings of a space can be in conflict, but sometimes that conflict can also be useful as well. So, a lot of our work has been with UN Habitat at the different World Urban Forums, in Kuala Lumpur at the World Urban Forum. Recently we launched Placemaking X at the World Urban Forum in Abu Dhabi this year, right before the crisis hit. But we at the Habitat 3 in Quito, I mentioned we'd ran several conferences with people from over 100 countries to figure out what should be the key messages for public space and placemaking that should be included in the New Urban Agenda. And we got those key messages, 10 of them mentioned in the New Urban Agenda. And then we also advocated for public space to be in the Sustainable Development Goals. So goal 11.7 is there. But of course, we see public space and placemaking as more than just a separate goal to advocate for, but one that that focusing on can help enable the implementation of many of the goals, not just the urban goals, of course, but enable an implementation in a much more resourceful and systematic and systemic way as well. Also launched at Habitat 3 were something called the Quito Papers, written the Dr. Close, the head of UN Habitat and the former mayor of Barcelona, got sponsored, and he had Richard Sennett, Saskia Sasa, and Ricky Burdett wrote, and the key messages from those papers were actually all about public space and really principles of placemaking. They said that cities and public spaces need to be incomplete, porous, and complex. And again, I think this is something that ASEAN cities have a lot of, in ways that make these cities vulnerable and sometimes reflect some weaknesses, but they also reflect incredible opportunities. So how they can be changed, reinvented, but obviously how do we allow that reinvention, that process of completing them perhaps, to be done in a place-led, community-based way. So they also said that public spaces need multiple uses, they need to be flexible, and they need to be more informal. And those sound simple and common sense, but that's the opposite of what a lot of the most award-winning designed public spaces around the world are trying to achieve or are doing. They're often single uses, segmented uses. They're often very rigid, not flexible, and they're very formal. The culture, the uses, the design is very formal. So again, these are things that the ASEAN countries have, are assets that may be threatened in a sense, but need to be built around and celebrated. So, so placemaking is always, we need to make sure it's always multi-sector. If it's ever dominated by one sector, one discipline, one demographic, that's limiting what it can achieve and actually how it can support that demographic or that interest. And it's also about, it's not just facilitating different needs, it's optimizing, it's drawing the best out of these different disciplines and ideas, and creating new, bigger change, bolder change, and doing it in a more resourceful, creative way. But how do we scale this idea and make it practical and develop a conversation around it? My father developed something, an idea called the power of 10, while he was at Project for Public Spaces, that this idea that a great place needs at least 10 reasons to be in it, a great destination needs at least 10 places in it, and a great city has at least 10 great destinations. So this can be a goal for Bandung, and for the island of Jakarta, or to have 10 great cities, each with 10 destinations in it. But again, the destinations, focusing on them can be what's most transformative for a city, and is often not a focus for city level government. And so in New York, these destinations, how they've been transformed, have really transformed how people locally and globally have seen the city. But it's not, the city government didn't have that much to do with initiating these transformations. It was actually often led by community groups, often actually opposing something or being activists. And then how they became effective was how they became for something, and how they brought in other leaders, how they managed up, essentially, how they brought in the investors and designers and city leaders in the right times in the right ways. But then a lot of these groups are also then managing, the same community groups that emerged to advocate for these spaces are in some ways managing and programming these spaces. Their spaces were designed to be managed in a flexible, lower cost way. And there's nonprofit organizations, business improvement districts, friends groups that are continuing to improve and grow these spaces. Bryant Park is one of the earliest examples that my father worked on in 1980, doing a master plan. And again, most of the credit goes to the management of the space. The plan was mostly about small design changes to enable more flexible, manageable spaces, and this layering of uses and activities that's continually getting better every year as they experiment and try different things. So it's at this human scale that cities succeed at all scales. It's where the magic happens, where people connect deeply with each other, where they fall in love with the place. And it's because of, again, the layering of different uses, of no use or user group dominating, and the combination of people and activities creating this buzz, this emergent quality. So you can we've done these trainings all over the world with cities around placemaking, with bringing together different departments and sectors, but doing this simple exercise is a way to quickly reveal how successful a city is. So Melbourne, Australia is a city that's has been voted the most livable city in the world many times, but they realized it wasn't that lovable. So now they're trying to focus on lovability, and they realized it's at this human scale that a place becomes lovable. There weren't the green dots were the places people loved, the red dots places people feel unsafe or uncomfortable, and the yellow dots were places that, if you added some more reasons to be there, they could become lovable places. And we've done these exercises in a favela in Rio de Janeiro, this is in Cali, Colombia. And it's a really common sense way to get a lot of information, to help people connect sort of with their intuition about how they feel about a place, but also to create a program of uses and activities that can inform and support design, other disciplines to have a more appropriate response to a community. And sometimes, but a lot of times, often communities can do a lot of the things themselves. So one of the places we've done training is in the Netherlands. With transportation professionals for over a decade, and or this is over a decade ago, that they said, they do such good design in the Netherlands. We said, why do they care about placemaking? They said, well, most planning is you do an engagement process, then you design, then you hope it gets used. They said they see placemaking as a much more iterative process that actually is about doing experiments, engagement, small design, and then you see if it gets used. And it puts design in its place, but it also creates more of a case for design, and a case for, it draws more creativity from the designers. And again, that engagement, that process builds governance capacity. It builds people's ability to work with each other and to learn from each other. So we see placemaking as this iterative approach where it takes a place to create a community and a community to create a place, where each department's goal moves beyond their narrow goal of just safety measurements or aesthetic goals or narrowed economic development goals. It's seeing places, their common goal that draws the best out of all of them and is, again, more resourceful and efficient. So starting to close up here, a strategy for any city, but also for the ASEAN region, could be to apply this Power 10 idea at many scales. So out of this event, where are the key places that you can have a big impact? That could each have 10 things to do in them. Where are the 10 destinations in your city that could really transform how the city's perceived? In your region, in Jakarta and around the country, and then so our goal with Placemaking X is to have at least 10 regions, each with 10 place-led countries and examples. We want to crowdsource and showcase and amplify these great stories, and I know they're everywhere. So please, this is all about building the community of practice, your learning community, realizing that you probably have a lot of the skills that are part of this community, part of this event right now, but realizing that your responsibility isn't just about your community or even your country. It's about how we all create this learning community together, and how we need to do small things, but they're all part of a much larger story of transformation, of connecting ourselves to each other locally and globally, building our capacity to figure out how humanity can continue to thrive on this planet through our ability to create human-centered places. So never doubt, my father studied with Margaret Mead, who was a famous anthropologist, and said that never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. We see Placemaking X is designed around many small groups of people in communities, in cities and regions. Each network has 5 to 10 people that are leading this, because that's a number of people that can really work together, and the magic can be created in. I'm going to turn it over to, I think Peng, back to Miraki, but I think Peng's going to speak next and talk more about Placemaking X.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. And so you can follow along on social media, and please share from this event on social media. I think Placemakers ASEAN is a hashtag that I started using, but or there's other ones we should use those too. But we use a lot of social media as a way to sort of connect and amplify the leaders and the stories in this field. So anyway, I look forward to taking questions later, but thank you so much, Miraki. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Ethan. That is a very inspiring talk. Yes, please do check out the social media, Placemaking X, and the hashtags too. So next, we are very pleased to welcome Jiaping, who is the organizer of last year Placemaker Week ASEAN event. Jiaping heads an urban and culture change startup called Empatico, which looks into the regeneration of urban, corporate, and cultural places. She is actively driving the placemaking agenda in ASEAN and is a startup board member of Placemaking X, a global network of leaders who together accelerate placemaking as a way to create healthy, inclusive, and beloved communities. As we have heard from Ethan, it's a very powerful community there. So let us welcome Chaping.
Hi, morning. So before,
Good
can you hear me?
morning.
Morning, hi. Before we start, and in the spirit of the theme, I would like to invite you all to get your snacks. So we have a few snacks here, and we've just had Deepavali, the Festival of Lights, with our Indian friends.
That's yummy.
Yes, so I'm going to put them away, but feel free to snack as I'm speaking. So hello from Tempatico. Tempatico really is, it means tempat and simpatico, which is to design places that have affinity with the community and the spirit of the place that it is in. So very, very happy to welcome Bandung into the fray. We also, Tita and I sat down and we actually created this at the cafeteria of the World Urban Forum in February before everybody locked down. So it was again over food, and food is playing a huge role in building the placemaking network. So I'll give you an example of how important it is. So last year we got everybody around to the best food in Malaysia, and we jalan-jalan in Jalan Alor. And we had the very famous Wong Awa chicken wings, kway teow, and this was the group. Jason, and Steeple team was there. You met Sienna yesterday. I love this picture on the left here with Charlotte and her coconut ice cream. And then and then the next day, so of course we eat every day as a group and as a team. This was to discuss the academic platforms for placemaking as a movement with people from San Francisco, Brisbane, as well as Israel, US. And, so it's all about connections. And I'm going to talk about connections. Why is it important in placemaking? So a lot of times what we see in the city is all about disconnect. Things that don't work in the city or places that are not loved, it's about disconnect. So I make the connection between the Maslow hierarchy of needs, where really a lot of people now saying, if you fulfill the physiological need right at the bottom, and if you fulfill the safety needs, but you do not fulfill the love and connection and belonging needs, you would have failed, and you wouldn't get the whole person, and the likelihood that they will not self-actualize. And so if you look at place hierarchy, there are places that we are unfortunately surrounded by many functional places where people have no emotions with whatsoever. They just want to go in and get out as soon as they've done their transaction, right? And then there are places that you pay and do things like banks, or where you buy your 7-Eleven stuff. And then there are places of districts where people say, oh, this is the next big thing because it's innovation, it's allowed, you get higher Wi-Fi capacity, you get tax-free to be in these places. But I think the most important places, and where people actually blog about, Instagram to death about, are the places that connect and the places with lots of people. So I know a lot of developing countries are starting to build things that have a lot of iconic buildings. Now, and as Ethan said, the Bilbao, it looks gorgeous. It has also added great economic value. But now let's look at how is it going to build social equity, right? Social capital. And how can these places then help people self-actualize? So there are places, Bhutan is one of those places where they have a happiness index. And a lot of people have it on their bucket list. I want to go to Bhutan. Why? Because it offers some spiritual connection to the place that people yearn for. And there are a lot of places in Europe also which attract people, like the Camino Santiago walk. And it's about, once you've achieved everything, what is there left for the soul? And it is to actually connect with the bigger scheme of things, with what's out there in the universe and what's my role in this world. So places offer individuals or communities to come together and connect. So if you look at this, and I've drawn this really from a Malaysian point of view, and it's very common sense that cities should have all these people connecting, from government-linked organizations to state, federal, civil service, from corporate communities all the way to neighborhood communities. But unfortunately, what we're seeing and what we're experiencing here, and I'm not sure whether other people are experiencing this, is there's a huge connect between all of these surrounding bubbles. And if you did a workshop about this, it would take you 1 hour to just map out all the disconnections, but it would take you a lifetime to solve and how to close the gap. So when we talk about connections, what are the drivers of emotion, drivers of connection? So really, I simplify this by saying connection is down to 3 things. You want to go to a place, you rationalize, I need to go to the place. The place needs to have certain functions. So like a place to eat, I need to be able to feed myself. But at the end of the day, the places that you go over and over and over to are those with emotional connection. Is it great people who greet you by name? Is it the food that you can't live without? What is it? So if I take Placemaking X convergent of causes around the place, which Ethan showed earlier, this is what I did with Kuala Lumpur, as I was looking at rejuvenating the heritage core with Think City, is that it's about a host of things. It's about safety and security. It's about enforcement. It's about maintaining place assets. And what we find in Malaysia is that we have all the governance, the rules are all there, except we fail a lot on enforcement and on maintenance. So, if you come to KL and if you come to a lot of cities, you will see a lot of disparities. Some people are better at enforcement. Penang has become much better at enforcement and maintenance of place assets. Some places are just not so progressive. So these are some of the things, the gaps that we need to fill. And if you overlay all of those people that you need to engage and to be connected, then what you see now is hopefully a holistic city management and curation and design template, right? So this is Chinatown during the lockdown that we experienced in March, I think for 60 days. And then we're now in the second wave, we're called the conditional lockdown. And this is a very rare picture because Chinatown is never like this in the middle of the day. And this is quite heartbreaking because it shows zero connections happening in the city. So what can we do about this in terms of building back the connection? So one of the things that we're looking at is we've talked to Malaysian Institute of Planners. So one of the key wins of Placemaker Week ASEAN last year was we got Malaysian Institute of Planners involved, and they were so taken with the speakers, the events that we had, and the value that we brought. And you should think, and Think City had played an amazing role in all of this, and I think it's credit to them that the board of directors and the whole organization decided to do this. So Malaysian Institute of Planners has decided to take Association of Placemaking Malaysia under its wing. This is the working title. Stay tuned. We're going to basically start launching it next year as the start of 2021. So Ethan, I need you to kind of be there for us, which I'm sure he will do. So we talk about connections, and why is it so important? Because connections build districts, it builds communities, and it builds movements. So if you think about it, Placemaker Week ASEAN was a connection that was created with PPS, right? And this was in 2015 when they signed an MOU with Think City. So PPS has launched a whole host of, and inspired a whole host of connections. And they inspired the city at eye level, STIPO, which we launched in September. And I think that Mariki has put the link on the book there. And, it's really about bringing Asia's stories to life. A lot of times we feel that we in Asia struggle with getting contextual stories of tropical places. How do you urban design for tropical places? How do you place make in tropical places? So this is one of our attempts, together with Think City, together with Bandung, together with Japan, together with who else? Singapore, the Urban Redevelopment Authority. How about creating exemplar case studies from Asia? And that's what one of the things that came out of from Placemaker Week ASEAN 2019 in Kuala Lumpur. And of course, then, PPS led to the birth of Placemaking X. And, and now Ethan is kind of driving the huge global initiative of placemaking. So Think City, which really started the placemaking movement in Malaysia, has created a whole host of movements with their grant program, very effective grant program. And one of them is Kebun Kebun Bangsa. And Kebun Kebun Bangsa has connected a whole host of gardeners and urban farmers. If you look at it, in 3 years, they've managed to surpass Think City in their followers with 9,824. During the lockdown, they were able to go down on the ground and find out who needed food and were left out of the distribution network created by the government. And because of that, they have decided that what they have was not good enough. And now they're stepping up in terms of production of food. And, I'm also looking at ways to help them kind of expand. So another thing birthed by Think City Grant Program was Zhongshan Building, which has now been declared a creative hub. As soon as the lockdown lifted, they were able to reach their community and say, come and, start connecting again with us at Zhongshan. So, again, I started with food. I am going to also end with food. These are episodes of very, very important connections. So the left, you saw Daniel yesterday. He spoke for Think City, and Daniel has been a key driver in pushing the placemaking agenda in Think City. So this is Daniel and I having hot dogs in Detroit. So you saw Ethan show the beach in the middle of Detroit. So this is us looking at one of the oldest hot dog places in Detroit. And on the bottom left is me and TJ in Valencia. So it was at Valencia that we in KL said to everybody, please come to Kuala Lumpur, please come and meet everybody in ASEAN so that you can actually see this beautiful, amazing stories coming out of ASEAN. And again, in Detroit, you can't go anywhere without eating ice cream or without eating pancakes and hash browns and bacon. So this is us with the Michigan Municipal League leaders enjoying food while planning how do we connect Asia with America. And the last picture here is TJ sneaking away one of the waiters' uniform in Wuhan after we basically ended our Wuhan experience and talking to the Wuhan placemakers. This is in 2018. So my last slide is about sneaking away. And it's very important to sneak away as placemakers to find out the beauty and the spirit of place. So this is me and Alpha from Think City. We were there representing Think City last year before I left. And we are having a yacht experience in one of the Great Lakes in Michigan. So I think that's about all for me. It's about connections and how do we keep building and strengthening those connections. So imagine a world where everyone has the opportunity to shape public spaces. So thank you.
Thank you, Chiaping. That was very inspiring. And yes, connection is very important. And today here, Placemaking X is one of the agents that help connect us all. Do check out their website and their social media. All right, next we are very pleased to welcome our next speaker, Gus Agung Gunarthawa, who is a local culture lover who since childhood has had an interest in various traditions, arts, and the authenticity of villages' daily lives. Since young age, he has been active in many cultural organizations, such as establishing Wahana Karya Cipta Budaya and other arts groups and activities like Ngelawang Budaya, Girang Budaya, World Cultural Village Festival, World Music Festival, and many others. He believes in strengthening Balinese values through various programs, and one of them is a living museum ecosystem. And today, Gus Agung from Bali is going to show us his project, the Samsara Living Museum. It is very interesting. So please welcome Gus Agung.
Yeah, hello Meriki, thank you. In Bali, we call it Matur Suksma.
Matur Suksma.
Yeah. Firstly, I'd like to deliver my highest appreciation for this initiative, Placemaker a Weekend 2020. Thank you again, Meriki, and my sister Tita, and all of my family from all over the world. I will directly to share because my slot is only 10 minutes. Wait a moment. Yeah, can you see it? Yeah.
Yes, we can see it.
I just add the Balinese music so you feel in Bali now.
Great.
I would like to share concept of Samsara Living Museum as the strategic to develop our rural-based resources, which is in my regency, in eastern part of Bali, named Karangasem Regency, is one of regency in Bali that still a bit marginal. You imagine in Bali, maybe all of Bali is glamour, but actually there are regency in Bali, in eastern part, named Karangasem is still have so much challenge. The first challenge is we are quite far from the main access of Bali Island. And the second challenge is our human index development is still low. Also, 87% of our area is still dry land. And our local income is quite low. And also, the last challenge and one of the biggest is our position surrounding the Mount Agong. So we are is disaster prone area. So wait a moment. So we need to have the real or the strategic problem solving. Because my background is in marketing communication. So I'm offering to the government to have a destination branding problem solving base, which is we have 7 steps or stages, starting from the brand awareness or public awareness. We would like to engage all of sectors to unite to have a same vision or same page how to develop this area. And then we do so many assessment, including the horizontal or vertical assessment. So based on this assessment, finally we reach what is our strength, our weakness, and others. And after that, we develop our vision. So finally, we have our positioning, our personality, and also our promise. And to grab or achieve this vision, we arrange some strategic, which is the strategic in our conclusion is how this regency or Karangasem regency should have exact positioning. Because if we don't have the exact positioning, so there is no people interest to collaborate or come or visit or engagement with us. And based on the vision or strategy, finally we decide the positioning of Karangasem is to be the authentic of Bali. Yeah, because now this, I'm sure some of you, if you come to Bali, not feel Bali like long time ago anymore. Yeah, so you will missing this situation. And the meaning of the Karangasem Living Museum is actually how we develop every part of this regency, every tradition, daily life of the people is to be the content of a living museum as big as Karangasem Regency. So imagine sometime all of you come to Karangasem, after you enter our gate, you already feel the atmosphere of Bali a long time ago. And then to reach the purpose of the Karangasem Living Museum, we create a quick win, name it Samsara Living Museum, our initiative, which is this initiative idea mainly is to introduce what is the circle of Balinese life. Because many of you saw so many traditions, so many cultural, so many attractions, but basically that has come from the really basic value in the circle of Balinese life. This is our vision and mission, the same or in line with the vision of the Karangasem Living Museum, which is Samsara would like to share the experience for all of visitors or people about the circle of Balinese life, which is a start from our mom pregnancy and then born and then grow, and finally die. All of the step, which is we simplify to be about 40 steps. Every step have so deep value or meaning. So this time, Samsara Living Museum has a duties how to actualize, how to connect it, the old value with the actual value. So the value is still able to implement it in the life today's. And then this is our value dimension, or value change. Start from preservation, we do conservation, education, also playground, learning center, create to be a destination, tourism, entertainment, and cultural innovation. This is experience journey. We would like to make sure everyone who's come to our living museum, they will have good enough knowledge about the circle of Balinese life and get some values from this experience. We have also devised our living museum to be some square, including main display gallery, museum gallery, demo gallery, workshop area, and others. And then we devise our activation to be three big group. The first group is related with environment, which is we spread to be education, literacy, conservation, and also preservation. In the picture in the bottom left, there are our activities. There's our activities to conserve and also identify so many plantation that related with every step of our circle of life. And in the top right, there are some literacy, like manuscript, like us, until now we still have so many literacy, like a manuscript. This is we call it lontar, in Sanskrit letters. And also in the bottom right, there are so many, we do so many discussion or seminars or workshop with so many expertise. And then also we acknowledge the value of some of our ritual, and also creating some examples that actually nowadays we are still have a chance to use as many as possible the friendly, environmental friendly material, yeah, to develop our building, our area, and others. And then also in the second big group, yeah, we implemented our concept related with social cultural, which is we engage so many sectors. We call it, as we call it, hexahelic, yeah, including government, academic, business, community, media, and financial. Until nowadays, there are about 5 ministries already come to my village or the Samsara Living Museum. We do some discussion in there, how to develop the community. And related with the pandemic, we are also initiate some activation, including the food sharing activities in top right, and also in the bottom right, we create the authentic hand sanitizer made from Balinese local liquor, yeah, call it arak, yeah, because this is one of our resources that is we have a very big volume, yeah. And then also we do some activation, including festival, and the last initiative related with social cultural, we also develop the e-desa ecosystem. So the rural space in my village, which is only 10 kilometer distance from the top of Mount Agung, is also able to engage with the people all over the world based on this application, yeah. And the last part, we also develop the economic sector or aspect of the people. So you can show so many activities of the people in our village, yeah, in our living museum. All of them is facilitated by us to develop their potential, and finally they able to achieve the benefit, yeah, from the activities, including the product, and also we create some activation related with the pandemic, yeah, like Balinese authentic meeting and also work from Samsara, because I imagine after the COVID pandemic, the habit of work from home is we will still, yeah, we will still need to do the same thing, but maybe walk from the destination or interesting place like Samsara. Yeah, and lucky us also, this is last picture from me. This is Miss Universe reunion in our living museum last year with the theme, the beauty of sustainable nature, culture, and heritage. So the conclusion is this activation or this initiative finally contribute really big numbers to develop or to grow the development in our agency. One of them is our Karangasem tourism visitation is increased 300% related with quality and also quantity. And then based on this achievement, finally, there are some good impact, yeah, related with the unemployment decrease, also the reduction of poverty and reduction of malnutrition and others. Yeah, that's all from me. Meriki, once again, thank you very much. Hopefully our idea able to richness, yeah, the initiative related with placemaking.
Thank you so much, Gus Agung. That was very interesting. I feel like I want to book my ticket and fly to Bali now. Okay. I have a question for you, but that can wait. So if anyone has questions for the speakers, please type them on the chat box and they will be read out at the end of the presentation. Now we are going to hear from the academics. We have two professors next. The first one is Widiani, who is an associate professor at the Architecture School of Institute Teknologi Bandung. Vidiani's research brings together people and places. Her multidisciplinary work focuses on the environment behavior research with a focus on daily life, retailing, and architectural studies. Today, Vidiani will share her experience organizing a digital placemaking event about 2 months ago during Artopolis, which is a biannual architectural conference organized by the Architecture School of Institute Teknologi Bandung. So please go ahead, Vidiani.
Yeah, thank you, Mariki. Thank you, Tita, for inviting me to the Placemaking E-Weekend ASEAN. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, perhaps, at your side. So before I started my presentation, I would like to ask, why do people join a conference? So mostly they do join the conference because to have a network. And then they also want to share and to hear from people with similar fields when they also can get to know other people in the field. And of course, we also like to join the conference because we would visit new places and have fun. And this is what we did at the architecture program Institute of Technology Bandung Artepolis conference. It's about creativity and the placemaking. It is a biennial international conference that we started at 2006. And what our aim is to promoting better urban design and also better placemaking, who facilitates creative patterns of use. We also sharing and learning about current issues, best practices and policies, implications of creative collaboration of placemaking. We also having particular attention to physical, cultural, and social identities. What we gather is we have a diverse range of participants' background from academia, artists, craftsmen, entrepreneur, community leaders, government officials, policymakers, and also professionals. So far, we already have normally 250 participants from 16 countries. So this is our topic about Artepolis that we done so far. We talk about creative culture. We also talk about creative connectivity, creative collaboration, creative communities, creative tourism, public engagement, meaning in creativity, and the previous one is the creative society with the scope of placemaking. This is what we normally do. We have a design charade and we also have entertainment from the artists. We also have a competition. We also have exhibition. This is what we did during the conference. And of course, last but not least is always food, like others, yeah? Food always make us mingle together and gather and have a network. And we also have proceedings, of course, like all other conference. But what about when the COVID time's coming? Everything goes virtual. That's why we have to think to rechange or shift our conference into the digital. This is what I want to share with you, the digital placemaking from my experience organizing Artepolis 8 2020. When you enter the conference, you have imagination about the building, about the hall. This is what we want to share. And we follow the theory of placemaking, how we make a good place. So when we compare real conference with Artepolis platform, we realize that the real conference, a good place should accessible and well connected to important places in the area. So what we do is we make the platform makes people possible to join several Artepolis activities without leaving the platform. So when you enter our platform, you can see that you can jump into the Zoom meeting at join live session and have interaction with the speakers. Or if you get bored, you can just go out from the room, but still in the platform. And then you can go to the left wing area, right wing area, where they have other activities. And then also when you feel like you get bored, you want to sit outside, you can have this kind of things. And we have also VR, which you can see the whole building in the whole building where actually the Artepolis supposed to take place. And with the real conference, we have to attract people to participate in activities. That's why we also make a sponsor booth, Artepolis partners, F&B souvenirs, interactive games, and also virtual tours. This is what we have, and then you can just click and then you jump into the game room, coffee shop, also chat room. With coffee shop, like my colleagues told you yesterday on her presentation, you can have food delivered by the Gojek. Unfortunately, it's only available in Bandung and Jakarta, or you can have a virtual venue. Looks like virtual venue. And then real conference has a sociable environment in which people want to gather and visit again and again. That's why we ask participants' preferences. First, we ask them to have like every webinars, we always have a photo session. We ask them to bring their own lovely mugs. And here we also have a governor of West Java who brings disinfectant instead of his lovely mugs during our gala dinner. And what we did is we share polling, asking whether they like to have a group picture or not. And normally, when the longer you have the conference, the more they love to have the photo session. And we make a crazy idea about photo session. We ask them to bring their pet instead of just sitting. So this is our keynote professor who brings his pet, and also this is our professor who brings his cat. And also we ask what kind of sport they did during the working from home, and they also show us crazy picture ideas. So last but not least, good places are comfortable and project a good image. This is a must. So what we did is we make a kind of teaser to show, to make a kind of impression to gain people to join to our conference. This is a teaser before we have the conference. So what is a real conference or online platform? What kind of things we should choose? Is it a real conference or an online platform? So we have a pro about real conference that we can exchange intense conversation. We also can visit new places, including sneaking and snacking. But of course, an online platform also have a benefit that we can be easy to connect with other people from all over the world. Like today, we have from US. Yesterday, we also have from Canada, or we also have at our previous time from Brazil, Panama, even from Australia, from the south. And we also have reduce emissions and make our climate eco-friendly. So what makes after COVID-19? What we want to do with our conference? I think we will go hybrid. So we will have online and also offline, because this is a good opportunity for us to join the benefit from these two platforms. So see you at Artepolis 9 2022. We will have it at 9 months, so it will be on September. And thank you. You can join us our social media at artepolis.itb, or you can also see our YouTube, our previous event at YouTube, Artepolis 8 International Conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Widi. That is very good. It is very good to see a different form of placemaking, digital placemaking, that we can join the conference without leaving our home. So next we are going to hear from the second academics, Chong Keng Hua. Chong Keng Hua is an associate professor of architecture and sustainable design at the Singapore University of Technology and Design, or SUTD. He is also a founding partner of Colors, Collectively Ours, which is a design consultancy specializing in public space and social impact design. Keng Hua is a firm believer in design activism, advocating social architecture and humanistic urban design, as seen in his curatorial works, including Singapore Pavilion at the Venice Biennale 2018 and Singapore Archifest 2020, which has just passed. And he is currently representing the Pacific Rim Community Design Network in curating the international exhibition Design for the Common Good in 2022. So contact him for collaboration. Yeah, please go ahead, Keng Hua.
Right. Thank you, Mariki. And thank you all the speakers, and thank for the organization for inviting me as well. Very, very honored to be able to join all of you. I know I'm the last speaker here, so I don't want to take up too much time so that we can all go into the game. I will just quickly run through some of the some of my interests and some of the projects that my group has been doing. All right, I will go into more about this project later. Let's just start with a brief, a quick overview of what I'm doing in school and outside the school. I'm heading this research group called Social Urban Research Group, and I also teach in the architecture department, as well as leading this opportunity lab for students to bring students overseas for exchange and so on, and work on projects in community design, placemaking project in overseas, and also partner in this collaborative consultancy called Colors, Collectively Ours. And actually, I have been attending Artepolis earlier, and that was how I fell in love with Bandung. And since then, I've been traveled to Bandung maybe every few years. And this was taken, yeah, really. This was taken actually last year when I brought my whole family, including my parents, my auntie, my sister family, and we visited our friends. And this is a very, I'm sure many of you have been there, Diamond Film. We really, really love the space underneath this highway. Well, in comparison, Singapore is also doing something underneath the MRT track, the train track, but it's only once a year during National Day. So you can see people, you hardly see people, you know, underneath the viaduct, but this is the rare occasion where you see people wearing red during National Day. And Singapore is very proud as a city of live, work, and play. I'll come back to this notion later. So for us, our stand is that how public space can be more diverse, more inclusive, more empowering to enable this kind of product process, more adaptable, especially during this pandemic time, and so as to bring about resilience in our community. And this is how our research has been framed. We look at big data and how to translate into placemaking and community building. So I want to bore you with all the data analytics that we're doing. Today we just focus on placemaking. All right, for us, we have this process of working with users through this four-step process. We first understand their motivation and perception of the place, and then we will do asset mapping and community visioning, and we will do participatory design and develop all these ideas, and we came out with different prototype as a way to evaluate those ideas together with the community. And these are some of the photos that of our engagement in the past few years. We have been working in different parts in Singapore. It's not moving. All right. And that brings me to the very earlier projects that we work with students. In fact, I think Ethan earlier also showed some of the issues of crossing the streets, especially faced by the elderly. There are issues here in Singapore as well. So you can see at the top left corner, this lady trying to cross this 4-lane road. So we work with students and residents to see how we can actually help to resolve some of this issue by occupying some of the car parks along the side. And that happened to be the first parking day, a global initiative that we implement in Singapore in 2013. And since then, it has become an annual event, a national event throughout Singapore. And even this year, we still continue to do that, but of course in the safe manner. And this is some of the installation that we developed during parking day, the earlier days. We use this mobile furniture, and these are my 2 kids. They are posed as my models. Of course, now they grow up already. And they continue to be my model and to do different kind of placemaking projects. When we are invited by HDB to do this intervention at the void deck. A void deck is a very common scene that you can see in Singapore public housing estate. The bottom, the ground floor are usually void. But what we do is we trying to create this different kind of lighting design and mobile furniture so that and this lighting actually correspond to how the furniture are being placed. And we have a smart lighting system through our computer analytics. We are then able to trigger different kind of lighting ambience. But somehow, because some of the furniture was being stolen, so we have to redesign some of the furniture to make it more robust. And of course, try to make it more comfortable as well. So this is our second iteration. You can see that the residents are enjoying them much better. And then we were also very fortunate to be able to participate in the I Like Marina Bay that do a public space intervention using recycling material because the theme is sustainability. And again, we try to use smart lighting to see how we can actually curate the kind of space, how they respond to how people use those spaces. And this is a project that I work with my fellow curators for Singapore Pavilion in Venice. We brought those ideas that we had earlier into Venice to see how we can transform and adapt a space like this in Venice to create the kind of placemaking for visitors to actually understand how Singapore has adapt into different kind of spaces. And since then, I've also been involved in several social kind of projects. And of course, we try to, iterate some of our design to see how we can make social spaces better, especially for the elderly. In this case, we redefine what a senior wellness center means. And in fact, this is also at the void deck of the HDB housing block. Since then, we have become a void deck architect. We have been doing many of this space placemaking project underneath the void deck. This is for people with dementia, how we can turn their artwork into the facade, and so as the way to communicate with the residents. Another project that we work with the resident in Ang Mo Kio is to even break out of that void deck spaces into the garden spaces. In fact, we transform a row of car parks literally into a garden. And this is a permanent transformation. And we are really, really happy that we are able to, make all this new kind of intervention in our city. And we have been then accumulating different ideas and put together 10 senior living typology for the future seniors. And hopefully we can actually implement some of these ideas so that our seniors have a place that they can enjoy, and not just enjoy, to connect with our neighbors and also contribute back to the society. And this is some of the illustration of how we hope that some of these places can be for our seniors, and as well as for our other residents as well. And these are all documented in our book, Second Beginning, Senior Living Redefined. It's a free ebook. You can download from here. I can share with you the link later. Moving on, we also talk about from placemaking to see how place involve the community and build community. I think as Ethan has shared earlier as well, it's really about building community. During the past half a year, we can see what is happening around the world, how people respond to different kind of places, so that we can have a safe environment. Singapore is not an exception. You can see this magic yellow tape everywhere that we are trying to avoid certain space. Mariki, I think you are working in NUS, you can see all these familiar spaces, how we are relearning how to queue, how to respect each other's space. We also try out some kind of virtual placemaking because we couldn't, engage the resident in the physical manner. So everything is putting online, and we are doing different kind of engagement process to help the residents to understand how they can still participate in their community building and placemaking. We also take the chance to develop an app. So we haven't been resting since then. We just launched this app last month. Still building up this. It's called New Kampong, stand for New Urban Kampong. I know Kampong, I think, is a familiar word with all of you. It means village. How we can bring village back into the city and create this spirit, Kampong spirit that we used to have. And so in this app, residents can browse what is the latest happening in their neighborhood. They can also propose their own events, their own projects, and ask other people to join them as their kaki groups. In this case, kaki means partner. So we would like to create an opportunity and a platform to encourage people to come together even during this troubled time. I totally agree with BD. Hybrid is the way to go. I think both online, we can see the power of online, able to connect people, but we don't want to miss out the offline interaction as well. So recently, when we are organizing the ArchiFest Architecture Festival, theme Architecture Saving Our World, we also trying to see how we can bring what is used to be offline, example, this pavilion, all the way into online virtual experience. But we hope that we can still build this next year. And we have also partnered with all the other many partners, urban farmers especially, community group, Shop House & Co is one of them, participate in design, and see how we can actually empower different community, different parts of Singapore, and invite people to visit those places. And this is our version of sneaking and snacking in the city. So this is just over, but I really enjoy going to see different kind of placemaking around Singapore, even during this difficult period. And not to mention, we also work with Shao Architects from Bandung, and they actually run this virtual tour of their latest micro library, Warang Kayu, that allows Singaporeans like us to visit micro library, visit Bandung virtually. I think this is really opened up a new possibility of how we can have more collaboration among all of us. Really appreciate all the architects for joining this effort as well. So just to summarize, I think curing our city and the project, what is the future of placemaking? I think we will start to question, would the city just built for live, work, and play in the pre-COVID era? And how can we project in the post-COVID hybrid, a more human-centric community that focus on bonding, collaborating, and experiencing our city? as mentioned, I'm also helping out to put together this international exhibition called Design for the Common Goods in 2022. So I would like to invite all of you to join us, to share with us your projects. This example project from Cairo in Egypt. We are working with 4 international networks: Seed Network, Design Build Exchange, Live Project Network, and also Pacific Rim Network, which I represent. Hopefully we can have a very good conversation about the future of placemaking for the common good in next year. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Keng Hoa. It's always good to hear from the academics. It's good to hear from Singapore. Now let's go to, we have 10 minutes for Q&A. I have here the first question. I'm going to read out. It's a question from Nicole Chang. Dear speakers, what do you think are the key factors that fail a placemaking initiative? Did you come across examples where placemaking leads negative impacts to the local society at place? In some post-placemaking scenario, we might see connection between the visitors to the place, but not the connection or disconnection between its original locals who live and work at place with their place as they used to. That's a very good question. The question of gentrification and side effect of placemaking. Okay, who wants to take this question?
I'd love to try some.
Go ahead, Ethan.
Thank you. And I'd love to, of course, I'd love to hear other people talk about, more regional examples of this. So first of all, placemaking is about allowing for and embracing failure. It's the idea is that we all make mistakes. It's about humanity. We need to allow people to make mistakes and fail and learn from it, and make small mistakes and create a culture of learning and sharing. And I do think the mistakes are more likely when it's a bigger project, or when it's more top down, or when it's more dominated by one discipline that may have blind spots to others, and they don't listen as much, and start the process with listening and engaging and humility, essentially. But the issue you also bring up is a really good one about sort of outsiders benefiting tourists, or other forces perhaps gentrifying a space. And again, if placemaking is done in a top-down way, or if it's just done to appeal to outsiders or tourists, it limits it for everybody. It makes it more of a monoculture, more of an extractive experience. But I think this time of lower tourism right now is a great opportunity to really reinvent and rethink tourism, and rethink, and also as the economy is hurt in some places, an opportunity to rethink economic development, and really build our communities around our local assets for and by the communities that are there, and then attract tourists back when things open up more, and attract investment and new people moving in on the terms of a local community. So negative gentrification happens when we try to appeal to outsiders, when we cheapen or disrespect the local identity that's there. Certainly there gentrification's often there's other factors. There's of ownership and lack of access to resources that enable vulnerability to gentrification. But placemaking can be a way that communities can showcase and can envision, showcase, and build up their identity, their local economy, their connection to, their attachment to their local places in ways that attract, support investment and tourism that adds to that. So I think the tourism industry needs to be totally reinvented. We need to shift money there's so much money that goes into marketing tourism that's very cheapening, that does perpetuate people just coming, taking a picture, leaving, being extractive, spending their money in ways that are extractive. And we're working with a lot of different organizations that are looking to reinvent tourism around contributing to placemaking first and foremost, building the product of tourism, which is the destinations that get people to slow down, connect, respect local culture, spend money in ways that build local culture, stay longer, come back, have a deeper experience. And this time in the world is a time to slow down and reinvent our connections to our local communities. And I think tourism also will slow down and want to reinvent. But local communities need to lead the way to redefine that relationship to tourists and to outside investment.
Can I just add to Ethan's answer?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think one of the key things that leads to failure is inauthenticity and lack of context. So what do I mean by that is when you bring an idea that is very, very alien to the communities there at that point in time, and there's no engagement to kind of like help educate what you're trying to do in that area, or you haven't asked them what they would like to see in the area. So I think with placemaking, there's always a fine point between making sure that you're engaging. And if you're a capital city and you want to do something a bit more progressive or futuristic, then it's a balance of making sure that people can connect to your vision. So a lot of top-down interventions without any community connection is very dangerous in that sense, and it leads often to failure. And also not understanding that, some people might go to Venice and say, "Oh, I love this music note road crossing," which is great for Venice. But if you bring it to, let's say, an Asian city that has no history of music making, it seems a bit odd. So these are the things that you need to look at, the context of it. So one of the things that we did that I led in Think City was the creation of an arts, turning a LRT station, underground station, into an arts complex with programmed dancers, performing arts, as well as a tunnel with creative arts. And then what I did was I used the tunnel to connect NGOs of their very important messages to the community, and with using artists to actually tell the story. So it's all about, again, connection. Thank you.
Yes, about connection. That is, the most important thing, I think. So does anyone else have anything to add to that? Teng Hoa?
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe I can just, I totally agree. I think anything that is inauthentic and disconnected from the local culture would not be sustainable in the long run. And I totally agree as well. Only when you invest in the local scene that you get both the local to buy in and you get the tourists to really experience what the locals experience as well, that you work both ways. So I think another thing that I really want to iterate is also a lot of time when we have projects that they are looking at the one final product, but what we are trying to do here as part of research and also part of placemaking project is that there's no one final thing that's end. It never end. It will just keep on continue to grow, and you need to allow this organic growth of that place to happen. I think there's some of the communication and also some of the expectation we need to build together with the resident and as together with the agency as well.
Yes, it is an ongoing process. So like Chia Ping has mentioned in her presentation, it's not just a one-off solution. It needs enforcement and maintenance, which is lacking in many places. And this is homework to all of us. So is there any other question? If not, I will ask the speaker. I have a question. So when you are practicing placemaking, how do you engage with the communities that you're working with? Like, how do you make sure that they want to participate or they are also interested in your project? Anyone want to answer that? Yes, Gus Agung.
Yeah, because actually one of our big challenge to develop our initiative is how engage the local community. because actually they don't have good enough knowledge or information about how to develop their self to be better. Yeah, so one of our strategy is we should give them as many as possible examples, yeah, or visualization, and also how to develop their level of confidence, because actually nowadays they are already have so many resources, so many potential, but they don't confidence, yeah. They don't know actually their activities or their potential is really have chance to have appreciation from the people. So that is our main strategy, how develop their level of confidence, and also should be have or deliver as many as possible success story, so they will be have a suggestion, how to say it. They will have a big picture or exact purpose, yeah, to join with our engagement. Yeah, maybe that's from me, Meriki. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so to share your belief with them, I think. Yes, Keng Hoa, you have something to add to that?
Yeah, well, yeah, yes, I totally agree. I think we need to build the capacity of the community. On the other hand, I just want to share an idea that my PhD student is working on right now. It's called participatory evaluation. So when we completed our projects, what we do now is to get the resident themselves to come and evaluate the projects. So they may or may not have involved in the earlier part of the process, but now that the place is done, they come here to evaluate. At the same time, we use that as a chance to transfer some of the knowledge, and also ask them, what would you do in future for this place? And then they would then take up some of this ownership, and then we will slowly and gradually transfer the kind of sustainable practice to them. So hopefully in the long run, and continue to sustain the place.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Jiaping, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, so I think that a lot of governments around the world are doing a lot to engage, which is great. One of the case studies I've just come across is by the New South Wales government, and they, in their website, they launched a Have Your Say about what are you doing now during this pandemic. And they use this app called Social Pinpoint. So for all you placemakers out there who can't go out and actually connect with your communities because of this virus, you might want to download Social Pinpoint, and it allows people to all come in and chat. So it's a community place, and they can actually pinpoint where they go when they go and exercise. Where are they going for socialization? So in the Have Your Say, they found that community parks are being utilized much more during the pandemic, and people are there's like 76% of them are not using cars anymore, but actually walking to their community parks, looking at local centers and things like that. So that data has helped the government to plan for their funding, right, to improve parks, to improve community places. So I think that there's a huge power there in terms of using the digital platforms.
Yes. Ethan, do you want to add to that?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, these are all really great points. And I agree, it's really about building the capacity. It's democratizing the process of shaping our built environment, as Ida and Keng Hoa were talking about, and paying actually this New South Wales program is a really interesting one to look at, and I'd recommend going to their website. I've been working with them for the last year. It's the first statewide placemaking program, and it really is a lot of Australian government organizations are doing. They're realizing that they were doing a good job delivering placemaking services, but their limiting factor was how they build the capacity of communities to be a partner in doing that. And so again, in parts of the world where there's actually more informality, you may be ahead of that. There's more capacity than you often realize, but that needs to be supported, appreciated, and respected. And often there's a push to sort of for the experts to lead and to have, we're trained to have all the answers when we go to school, and we're trained to tell people what to do essentially. And placemaking is really about having facilitative leadership skills. It can be informing, inspiring, guiding communities, but drawing out their expertise and moving towards action. We try to distinguish placemaking from planning. Planning there's important skills and with it as well, but placemaking is about doing, and it's about respecting other expertise, and it can inform planning and be shaped by planning. But we need the placemaking. We have to unleash a great deal more agency, a great deal more leadership all around the world to be able to address the bigger challenges that we have. The discipline-led models of change are frankly not drawing on the disciplines well enough. They're not drawing on government or skills well enough. It's by recentering change and power in communities, we can scale up capacity for change at actually a bigger level. There's a fear that when you democratize, you prevent anything from happening. It's not just about consensus. It's not just about including everybody. Those are important actually, but it's about action. It's about making great places, and through that reinventing governance and participation and building capacity. So we need to help everyone see that to challenge and support people to take responsibility for the world beyond their home, to realize their placemaking potential, capacity, responsibilities, and that's how we'll be able to take on responsibility for the sustainability issues or health or equity issues, to sort of get us all to turn our worlds inside out and see our potential to be co-creators of our public realm, to see that as a fun, fulfilling way to participate in our world and to give back.
Thank you. As Ethan presented earlier today.
Can I add something?
Yes, sure, Vidi, please go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with Ethan because from our perspective, who have a conference, we also want to introduce new emerging communities. It's not only who has a theoretical background, but also people who really did these things. So what we do is always searching for, always browsing, always look for a new potential that we can learn from. So that's why we make the conference, and our first conference is the initiative of Helarfest, Bandung Helarfest. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, great points, all speakers. Thank you so much. And as Ethan has presented earlier, informality is one of the aspects that needs to be included in placemaking. A few people might have missed the beginning of this presentation. Would you like to elaborate more on that, Ethan, about cities has to be multiple users, flexibility, and more informality?
Sure, yeah. So the best parts of all kinds of public spaces are where people feel comfortable, where they relax, where they become essentially more informal. Yet we're always seeing this big push in cities to formalize, to control, to order, essentially to the culture through which and the professions through which the built environment is shaped is a very formal culture, and the values that are communicated in the public realm of especially the most celebrated public realms are often very formal. We're told to told how to behave and how to and it's actually limited in various ways. And so I think a really healthy public space, a healthy city, has a full spectrum of sort of informal to formal public uses, informal to formal retail, informal to formal culture. And and there's appropriate places for more formal culture and participation, and public space should can communicate that. But a lot of the best public spaces have actually, people are very relaxed in the middle of them. They're smile at each other. They make eye contact. They take off their shoes, or they're vulnerable. They feel a little open to the world. So informality, I know, has many different meanings, but a really important one, a relevant one is obviously the informal economy and an informal vending. And again, there's, we're brought into the cities all over the world where they see sort of two ways. It's either we get rid of all the informality, or we let it take over. And we see placemaking is about facilitating sort of a third way of let's help the informal economy and informal vending add to public space and support them to add to public space. Whether there's need technical assistance or better facilities of some sorts to achieve whatever health outcomes, or but how do we support them to have upward mobility, because often they're some of the most valuable participants in the public space. They make it safer, more fun, more accessible. They provide local food that has local culture and so embedded in it more than anything else. So I think we want to, we talk about starting with life, starting with uses in public space, and defining the sort of turning upside down the shaping of cities to start with that. And it's actually really starting with informal use, informal activity, with happiness, with children, with informal vendors. With that as the goal, if we make informal life, informal use an indicator of the success of a city, it actually can make the rest of our goals of a city fall into place and happen in and actually a more affordable, rapid, and creative way. That informality leads to innovation. We actually, one more point on that is that we actually we worked with the Brookings Institution on looking at what makes innovation districts work, which are very formal, high tech, high end, big corporate environments often. And they found that the limiting factor for innovation and for inclusion was places where people come together, where they relax, where they mixed, where they shared ideas. So even in these formal environments at universities and in corporate office parks or tech centers, they particularly need informality more than anywhere else. They need places where people slow down and hang out and get some hot pot or whatever, or whatnot. But so it's true in all different contexts. But so placemaking is informalizing the process of shaping places. It's informalizing the places themselves, and it's helping everyone realize, just by being there, by helping other people feel relaxed and comfortable and welcome, that they're a great placemaker as well.
Thank you, Ethan. Yes, informality is certainly something that we all in Southeast Asia can relate to. It's part of our daily life. Yeah, and if there is no more questions, we are going to move on to the second part of this event today, which is JalanJajan Urban Game. Before that, I'd like to thank our speakers today. We have learned a lot from their sharing. It was good discussion. Ethan Kent has shared about placemaking examples in the United States. We have seen a beach in the middle of the city. That was fun. And Jiaping has shared about placemaking in Malaysia. And then Gus Agung has shared his living museum project in Bali, which is very interesting. And then Widi has shared her experience organizing a digital placemaking event. And Keng Hoa has shared his placemaking experience in Singapore, which is a bit different from other parts of Southeast Asia because Singapore is much more regulated. Yeah. Now, yes, thank you all for participating. I would like to pass this to my colleague Rizka, who's going to bring us for a virtual urban game. As Widi and Keng Hoa has suggested, hybrid is the way to go. So this urban game, JalanJajan, is produced by and designed by Bandung Creative City Forum. And this is the first time they are going hybrid. I would like to thank them for all the effort they have spent taking video, editing video. They have not been sleeping for a few nights now, I know. I would like to thank them for all this effort so that we can join this game from the comfort of our home. So shall we begin? Is Rizka here? Yes, yeah, I think she's ready. So let the sneaking and snacking begin. Rizka.
Ayo mainkan dong. Pakai tangan dulu. Itu masalah. Mana? Ada pertandingan di laut. Oh, pertandingan di laut. Tuh, 2, 3. Ini mah video ketang.
Hello, everyone. Okay. Hello. Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Rizka. I am from Jalan Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Selamat datang kepada teman-teman semua di sini. Aku pakai bahasa Inggris aja kali ya. Selamat datang juga yang kemarin udah datang. Ada Ibu Widi, and then Bu Tita, terus Kang Gali dari ICCN, dan everyone semua yang ada di sini. I'm so nervous. Okay, so we will play the game. Before we begin, I would like to inform you about the rules. Not the rules actually, but for your best experience. Wait a minute. So we are going to play with 2 devices. Wait. Nervous, Bo. Yeah. We are going to play quiz and doing some virtual tour. Use 2 devices for your best experience. So the first one is your personal computer or laptop for joining the quiz, and your smartphone for virtual tour, because we are having a 360 cam mode in YouTube. So I will give you a barcode after this, and you will scan it, and it will direct you to our YouTube link. Hello from our Galileo, Mr. Tubagus Adi and Kak Reza from Party Gastronomy. Welcome to the game. So I think we will start today. Start now. Are you ready? You guys have smartphone, yeah, in your hand? Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is the barcode. You can scan right now. I will play with you guys. I will play along with you guys. So the first destination is where we like to go. Yeah. This is Pasar Baru Market. So you can move along your phone and you can see your right side and your left side or your back side. Your back side is me with my friends, and there is a street food vendors along the way Pasar Baru Market. Yay. Okay. So this is one of the food stall in around Pasar Baru Market area. It called Nyonya Oi.
Tokoh kue yang legendaris, yaitu tokoh kue
Nyonya Oi shop. Nyonya Oi sells so many traditional desserts like srikaya and then coconut pudding or yeah, etc. There is so many traditional dessert in here, and if you are sweet tooth, you must be love this shop. Okay, so Pasar Baru is oh yeah. Let's start the quiz. Okay, first question. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah. Pasar Baru Market actually once received an award in colonial era as the happiest market in Asia, the tedious market in ASEAN, the largest market in Asia, or the most authentic market in the world. Can you guess it? I mean, just guess. This is for fun. If you see the Pasar Baru Market, what do you think it will receive the award? Okay, the answers keep going. Yeah, the most authentic market in the world. Okay, the tedious market. Yeah, the hippiest. Yep. But okay, time's up. Let's see your answer. Oh, 33% say the largest market in Asia or the most authentic market in the world. But what is the answer actually is? Wait. Gue ini lagi ya. And answer is, you guys already know. Yeah! The tedious market in ASEAN. Wow. Can you believe it? Pasar Baru Market is the tedious market in ASEAN in colonial era. We will hear from the explanation from our Galileo, Mr. Tubagus Adi.
Memang Pasar Baru pernah masa kolonial pernah sebagai pasar terbesar di Asia Tenggara. Memang desainnya bagus kan gitu. Ada film-filmnya juga.
Tahun berapa ya kira-kira?
1900-an lah, 1900-an. Jadi itu udah pada posisi tahun-tahun keemasan lah. Gitu.
Yeah, so the right answer is the tedious market in ASEAN. Like, it's huge, right? Okay, but okay, let's move along with the next destination. Where should we go from here? We are heading to, can you guess it? Where am I? This is a local street vendor in Alcateri Street. This is called lotek. Lotek is salad with peanut sauce. It contains vegetables and crackers, and then of course a peanut sauce. The place is very narrow and small, but the taste of the food is really, really good, and it's very authentic. Lotek Alcateri established from 1960, I guess. Yeah, 1960 ya, guys. Yeah. Ya aja lu. Okay. So yeah, this is me about a week ago, and this lotek food is perfect for breakfast, for lunch, for snacks, I guess. Some people eat salad as snack, isn't it? Lotek is Bandung salad with peanut sauce. Yes, that's true, Mbak Meriki. And besides lotek, there is soto Bandung. Soto Bandung is what is it? Beef soup. Beef soup with what? With vegetables and with broth. Okay, let's start the quiz. Okay, the following are not included in the anatomy of lotek. Our salad with peanut sauce is vegetables, dried shrimp, rice cake, or crackers, which are not included in the lotek or in the salad. Woo, you guys, come on. Oh, okay. Let's reveal your answer. I think it's everyone's answers. Wow, yes, dried shrimp. Oh, yeah, dried shrimp, yes. And let's see how the actual answer is. Bentar. So, and the answer is, let's see, my video use. Ini aku udah share screen belum? I'm sorry guys, I'm so nervous. Ya, lotek alkateri, tolong dong adukin, Mbak. Nih, jadi ada, tuh lihat deh. Ada lontongnya pulen banget dan gurih. Dikasih santan ya, Bu ya? Apa? Lontongnya? Tapi gurih banget. Kasih apa ya? Itu berasnya beda sama yang beras makan sama buat lontongnya beda. Oh, berasnya beda. Jadi nih rasanya gurih, sumpah nggak kayak lontong biasanya. Tuh, pulen banget. Ada pahitnya, soalnya ada paria sama daun pepaya. Tuh. Terus ada toge juga, kerupuknya dihancurin langsung dikasih diaduk ke bumbunya itu ya. Ada waluhnya. Bumbunya tuh bukan yang bukan yang encer. Jadi yang padat gitu. Jadi ini rata banget isinya. Yummy. Ini bahasa Inggrisnya apa ya? So the answer is yes, dried shrimp. Dried shrimp are not included in lotek, but actually it's okay if you want to add some anchovies in your salad, right? Okay, next question. Money. Okay. True or false? The main character of Sunda dish is, West Java or Bandung, had a sweet taste with complex cooking technique. True or false? Making a lotek, I think it's complicated. You have to make a sauce. You have to chop the rice cake. I think it's complex. Whoa, okay. So let's reveal your answer. Whoa, 75%. It's true. But actually, the answer is, let's reveal the answer. Mana? Oh, ini dia. False, everyone. Why? Let's hear our Galileo, Mr. Reza Ramadan from Party Gastronomy. This is a collective food and culture collective.
Tapi buat saya, karena saya lahir dan besar di Bandung, ketika membandingkan dari alhamdulillahnya juga kan pekerjaan saya membawa saya ke banyak tempat. Jadi ketika membandingkan, memang yang paling mainly menu yang paling simple itu memang makanan Sunda ya. Jadi kalau kita lihat makanan di beberapa daerah kan ada yang kita harus cook atau enggak, kita harus memproses itu dengan cara yang cukup lama, lalu dengan perhatian yang khusus gitu ya, yang makan waktu gitulah. Dan tekniknya juga kurang lebih step-nya tuh banyak gitu. Nah, sedangkan kalau masakan Sunda itu kebanyakan sederhana. Kalau orang Sunda itu suka tekstur. Makanya kan sebenarnya kalau kita lihat mungkin salah satu populasi di Indonesia yang paling banyak mengkonsumsi makanan yang kriuk itu orang Sunda ya kayaknya. Ya mungkin daerah-daerah lain kalau makan nggak perlu pakai kerupuk gitu. Kalau orang Sunda nggak ada DDN gitu, nggak ada, wah itu kayak harus nih kayaknya. Ya coba lihat aja kalau misalnya kita lihat kan nggak cuman kerupuk ya si tekstur tuh, tapi bisa juga kayak lalap gitu kan. Lalap fresh juga kan itu merupakan masakannya misalnya teksturnya lembut gitu ya, terus dengan lalap yang segar itu kan kita tetap bisa ngejar si teksturnya.
Yeah, that's it. So Sundanese dish actually have character apa ya? Cracky. No, crunchy. Love crunchy food. Crunchy texture and simple dish because the preparation actually is more simple than other region, like in Manado or Sumatra maybe you have to cook rendang for 6 hours, but in Bandung we cook lotek just for I think 1 hour, 1 for 2 hours, just like that. Actually, I'm so surprised to see my face all around in this. Okay, so let's move along with our next destination where we headed. Kemana nih? Yeah, we are going to Kebon Karet. This is a special place because in this alley there is one heritage legendary culinary apaan sih? Culinary was very legend. There's a curry, lontong curry or curry with rice cake. Yeah, this is it. Lontong curry Kebon Karet. It's not only sells rice in a rice cake, but also curry noodle, and the taste is very authentic because it contains so many spices, and the recipe is still original from 1960. Yeah, 1960. In Indonesian curry have a special characteristic. The broth contains coconut milk and spices. Crackers in every dish. Yay! Keropok. Yes, keropok. Japing. Keropok. Crackers is keropok. Rice cake curry from Kebon Karet. Yay, Bu Tita. This is very, very, very delicious and very authentic. If you guys go to Bandung, you have to try this one because the curry is very different from curry from India or Japan. This is it has sweet and savory flavor. Yeah. You wanna to see me with my itu topinya miring lagi. You can see me eat or we want to play the quiz. Yeah. Let's play the quiz, I guess. Okay, let's start the quiz. So the question is, true or false? True or false? Soy sauce in Indonesian has been modified into sweet taste. I already forgot to mention, if you eat curry in Indonesian, it's very common you add a soy sauce. But can you guess, true or false? Soy sauce in Indonesia has been modified into sweet taste. And yeah, can we close the poll? Is of everybody? Yeah, everybody already answered. Oh, 80% it says true, and 20% it says false. But what is the answer actually? And the answer is mana nih, Bo? It's true. Dang, da, 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 da. I'm sorry, the sound is not playing. It's true. But why? Why? What the story? Oh my God, terlambat lagunya. Let's ask Kak Reza Ramadan again.
Itu salah satu salah satu bukti bahwa betapa terbukanya orang Indonesia sama orang ya. Kan kita gampang banget ya kalau orang Indonesia tuh begitu gampangnya untuk kenalan sama orang gitu ya, making friends gitu ya. Ya sama deh. Kecap tuh salah satunya. Karena kecap kan originally itu datangnya dari Asia Timur ya, dimana dulu di abad 17, saya nggak bisa ngomongin soal histori karena bukan fortunate-nya saya, tapi intinya pada saat itu kan banyak bangsa yang masuk ke Indonesia, salah satunya dari Asia Timur. Nah, di Asia Timur sendiri kan soyu atau soy sauce gitu dalam padanan yang paling ini dalam bahasa Inggris gitu ya, itu kan udah ada dari abad ke berapa ya, kalau nggak salah saya baca ya, itu dari abad ketiga atau keempat itu udah ada yang mendokumentasi bahwa soy sauce itu udah diproduksi, atau soy sauce 1.0 tuh udah ada gitu. Nah, saudara-saudara kita yang dari Asia Timur kan ketika mencari penghidupan di Indonesia kan pada saat itu kan membawa beberapa produk, salah satunya adalah si soy sauce. Soy sauce itu kan asin ya. Nah, ternyata itu tuh tidak, ketika mereka misal memproduksi lagi gitu di sini tuh makanan-makanan kan akhirnya dari situ orang-orang dari Asia Timur datang, ada yang nambang, ada yang jualan makanan gitu ya. Nah, yang jualan makanan itu pakai soy sauce yang asin itu ternyata nggak laku. Akhirnya dimodifikasi, akhirnya kan diserap bagaimana orang Indonesia bisa lebih menerima, salah satunya adalah penggunaan gula merah dalam pembuatan si kecap.
Wow, so that is true. Soy sauce in Indonesia is modified with a sweet taste by adding a palm sugar. Woo! So Indonesian is a sweet people, I think. Garing, krik. Okay, so move along with the next question. Ini apa ya? Yeah. We're still talking about soy sauce. Here's some ingredients of soy sauce that produced in Indonesia, except star anise, palm sugar, soybean, star anise, or coconut. Palm sugar is definitely yes. Soybean, I think so. Star anise, what is star anise anyway? Star anise, is this people's name? No. No, star anise is bunga lawang ya. Coconut. Okay, everyone is answer. Let's reveal your answer. Wow, 50% answer star anise and 50% answer coconut. But what is the answer actually? Let's reveal the answer. It's coconut. Why? But so actually there is a soy sauce that with star anise as ingredients. Let's hear Mr. Reza Rahadian. Ramadan.
Kecap tuh kan mereknya banyak banget ya. Dan banyaknya kalau kecap di Indonesia itu selain yang merek-merek besar gitu ya, sebenarnya lebih banyak itu kita kayaknya punya 100-an kali ya, mungkin bukan pabrik merek kecap gitu. Tapi saya nggak tahu ya, itu more or less di seluruh Indonesia. Dan beda-beda sebenarnya kecap itu. Jadi kalau soy, jadi si ide awalnya adalah si soy sauce yang asin. Terus ketika di Indonesia ada penggunaan gula merah. Tapi itu juga mungkin ya let's say itu kecap 2.0 gitu ya. Tapi seiringnya jalan itu karena memang setiap keluarga itu kayak punya resepnya masing-masing, itu bahannya jadi bertambah. Ada yang pakai star anise, bunga lawang, ada yang pakai rempah-rempah yang lain gitu ya, kayu manis dan lain-lain, sampai ada yang pakai kaldu sebenarnya. Jadi
wow, so that's it. So there is a soy sauce who use star anise as the ingredients. Wow, I want to try it. Okay, so next question. Oh, next destination. We have one more destination, I guess. Yes. Okay. So where are we heading to? We are going to, this is very special destination. We are going to eat some chicken noodle. Chicken noodle is very popular in Asia. I know, like in Singapore, like in Japan, Malaysia, Korea, every country, I don't know. In Asia, noodles is very common. In Indonesia, chicken noodle is usually ate as snacks, as lunch, or even breakfast. Or you can eat chicken noodle as dinner as well. Yeah, so this place called Toko Cheonglung. Toko Cheonglung is originally from Bandung. Established from 2006. This is very interesting because the chef, Ibu Yati, used to cook chicken noodle for athletes, for swimming athletes, named Yesi Yosaputra. Yesi Yosaputra is world champion swimming athlete, and she have to eat some dish with high protein. So Ibu Yati every day, every morning, prepare some chicken noodles and then porridge with thick broth. Any dish with high protein. The interesting is the chicken that Ibu Yati use is ayam kampung, what is called in English chicken village. No, of course not. Ayam kampung.
Organic chicken.
Okay, thank you, Mameriki. Yep. Okay, so yeah, this is me. Enjoy my noodles. Okay.
Yes, Rizka has brought me to that chicken noodle shop, so I can say a little bit about that. Yeah. So the owner of the shop actually starting cooking chicken noodle for her children who are swimming athletes in Indonesia, and because they need lots of protein, so the owner of the shop has to cook a lot of meat for the children. So starting from that, and then they start selling the noodle as well. And Rizka has brought me there. The noodle is really very delicious. You should try.
Exactly. They have a thick broth and very savory, very good, very...
Yes. It is made with love.
Yeah. Made with love. Rizka, you could eat all this in one day? Actually, yes. And you know, my pants buttons come to, my tummy wants to explode in that day. But it's okay. It's good explode anyway. Good explode. Wants to see my tummy explode. Okay, move. Let's play the quiz. Where's the question? What makes chicken noodle a chicken noodle? Oh my God, what the question is this? A, chicken, or B, noodle? Yeah, just guess it, everyone. What makes chicken noodle a chicken noodle? Do you guys stress with me? Please don't. Okay, so let's see your answer. Let's reveal your answer. Okay, 70% is chicken. 20% is noodle. What makes chicken noodle a chicken noodle, actually? And the answer is chicken and noodle, of course. Yay! Apa? Oh, yeah, the answer is chicken noodle because what is chicken noodle anyway without chicken? And what is chicken noodle anyway without noodle? It's just chicken or it's just noodles. Yeah. Anyway, so guys, you can see this is our book. You can see our story and our game is all packed in this guided book. We have one more here, and there is various edition. You can get it in BCCF, Bandung Creative City Forum, and you can you can contact Bandung Creative City Forum in our Instagram or on our Jalan-Jajan Instagram, ikut Jalan-Jajan. So you can, if you visit Bandung, you can guide it by this book and play the game. Okay, so that's it for round 1. We can move along with round 2. Oh, wait a minute. So I have a collection of picture of chicken noodles. So this is chicken noodles in Indonesia, and they have a variety of taste. This is chicken noodle with sweet soy sauce, or the salty chicken noodle, or chicken noodles with meatball, chicken noodle with mushroom. Yeah, there is variant of chicken noodles in Indonesia. What is in your country? I think there is so many various of noodles in this world, yeah? Okay, so without any further ado, let's move to round 2. We're going to play Kahoot. Kahoot. Apa nih? Finish. Hi. So, you guys still have your smartphone on your hand, right? Just type, visit www.kahoot.it and insert the pin. Our game pin is 470605. Okay, so we are waiting for the players. You can see we are going to play Kahoot right now. Oh, Butita is already entered the stage. Thank you, Butita. Where is next? Thank you, W. I think I know. I think W is Bu Widi. Is that you, Bu Widi? Yay! And then who we got? We already played with these 2 people in here. Are you guys? Dudu Snack, thank you, Dudu Snack. Mama Ricky is in the house. Okay, Cock is in the house. Buyati is. What is this? Rizka's X. Yesterday is Rizka Vance, and now Rizka X. Okay, thank you. My pass. I'm sorry. I'm here. Rafi, yay! Rafi is already entered to the stage. Yes. And yeah, is this everybody? Lucy, hello, Lucy. Okay, I think this is everybody wants to play right today. I'm sorry, I love to beatbox. Okay, may we begin? Yeah. Okay, let's begin. Jalan-Jajan Diversity Food. In 3, 2, 1, go. We'll start from word count. Name the food in your area which is a fusion of 2 cultures or more. Okay. What is the food in your area, in your country, which is a fusion of 2 cultures or more? In Indonesia, it's very various. I think Baso, it's a fusion. Yeah. Oh, it's time's up. Okay, we'll reveal the answer. And you guys, rendang sushi. Oh, yeah, I know rendang sushi. Odading Mang Oleh, semur, noodle, toast. Oh yeah, toast. Toast is from Western and yeah, it depends. Toast with Srikaya is Western and Asian maybe, yeah. Rojak, yes, rojak is good. I love rojak. And yamin is chicken noodle as well. Yeah. Wow, that is very interesting answer here. Rendang sushi is very interesting. rendang, but sushi. But do you guys have you tried rendang sushi? Okay, next question. Thank you everyone for your answer. Name the ingredient used to make lotek. Oh my God, we already discussed it. We already discussed it. It can be various. There is there is beep, there is there is whoa, it contains egg. I think this is special lotek because it contains egg. There's egg right there. Okay, this egg is a bit overcooked, I guess. Emangnya gue master chef. Okay, let's just for okay. Ayo guys, masih 4 yang jawab, 5. Okay, 5 answers. Come on. I think there is some the green one is vegetables, I guess. And what is the rainbow round right here? Whoa, okay, 7 answers submit. Let's show the answer. Rice cake, veggie, kerupuk. Yes, that is kerupuk. And egg. Yeah, that is a special lotek. Peanut sauce, rice cake. Yeah, fake. Kerupuk. Yes, kerupuk is a must. Vegetables, peanut sauce, and egg. Of course, kerupuk, peanut butter, veggies, rice cake, vegetables, kacang. Yes, kacang. Kacang, peanut sauce. Yeah, peanut sauce. Pesa Putri is answered. Dia mau main lagi. Okay, next question. This is yang tadi cuma pemanasan ya. Sekarang beneran. When eating, the majority in Indonesians should be with crackers. True or false? We already discussed it. True or false? True or false? True or false? Yeah. 6, 7. Yeah. We gotta lock the answer. Yeah. True. Of course, it's true. The majority of Indonesians should with big crackers. I mean in Sundanese cuisine ya, maksudnya ya di sini. Okay, next question. Surprisingly, cock is number 1. Congratulations, cock. Next question. The most enjoyable way to enjoy nasi padang. Oh, I think you must be familiar with this one. Nasi padang. Using hand, spoon and fork, chopstick, knife or fork. Can you imagine? Eat nasi padang with knife and fork like we are dining something. We are the dining room lagi. A dinner, fine dining. Nah, sih kok dining room gue? Yes, using hand. The best way to enjoy nasi padang is with your bare hands because you can mix all the sauce, mix all the broth in and rice. Okay, next. Wow, Ibu Yati is the leader. Wow, Ibu Yati, is that you from Toko Cheonglung? Wow, you're so. Thank you for joining us. Okay, next question. True or false? The original curry is from India. True or false? The curry that we know is originally from India. True or false? True or false? True or false? True or false? I think this is noodle curry, yeah, in the photo. Or not? Yeah. And the answer is it's true. Yes, of course it's true. Curry is originally from India because, you know, yes, we know India have so many variants of spices and it's very common in India to cook with many spices. And this is it, the curry. Next, Bu Yati mau nomor WA-nya dong. Nah, lo Bu Yati itu ditanya, Bu Yati memimpin. Okay, next. Foods that are fermented from soybeans. Okay, this is the food which fermented from soybeans. Tempeh. The red one is tempeh. The blue one is tofu. The yellow one is soy sauce. And the green one is milk. It's milk. What do you guys think? Gimana kalau ini susu kedelai? Soybean milk. Okay. So this is okay. The answer is yeah. Everything is right. This is soybean milk actually. Oh my God. We're gonna kiss you. This is the kedelai. Keledai. Oh yeah. This is local jokes, everyone. In Indonesia, soy is kedelai and donkey is keledai. Yeah, okay. Bu Yati and Rizka X, you may leave the room, okay? Why you here? Why you ghosting me? Okay, next, move. From the picture above, the main ingredient used is, okay, this is rice cake. This is rice cake. We already discussed it. This is rice cakes. What do you think the main ingredients of rice cakes? Is it soybean or flour or rice or coconut? What is the main ingredients of of rice cake? Yes, that's true. It's rice. Yeah. And okay, Dudu snack is enter scoreboard. Thank you, Bu Yati. Ini bener Bu Yati nggak sih, Wak? Okay, next. Ingredients for making soy sauce can only be made from black soybean seeds. It's true or false? Soybean seeds, yeah. It's true or false? We already discussed it, yeah. I think this is chicken with sweet soybean. This is very popular in Indonesia. This is home food meals. Yeah, it's false. It's false because the ingredients for making soy sauce not only from black soybean, but it can be various. It can be star anise. It can be fish stock. It can be cinnamon and etc. Okay. Ya, and Bu Tita menyusul sekarang. Ayo Bu Tita lawan mantanku. Terus. Next, original brand of soy sauce from Bandung is Kecap Hati. If you're not similar with this one, you can just guess it. You don't have to be right. Kecap Hati Angsa, kecap tiap sapi, kecap om, kecap Helar Fest. Okay. Halo Kang Kecap. Do you watch this one? Ini anak-anak mainin Kang Kecap. It's okay. Kecap Helar Fest. And the answer is yes, kecap tiap sapi. Oh, surprisingly, there is one person answer kecap Helar Fest. So you're wrong. Oh, okay. Memeriki kecap. Yay! Thank you. Oh, no. Oh, the next question. The name of the food in your area that use noodles as main ingredient is what? Is what? Please type your answer. Like I say, noodles is very common in Asian. Yeah, there is so many dishes in Asian. It contains noodles like ramen or chicken noodles or spaghetti is from Italy. What is noodle actually? Oh, laksa. Laksa. Okay. This is the answer. It's already here. And the answer is, I want to see your answer. Udah. And your answer is mie ayam, bakmi, internet. Yeah, okay, good. Internet is good. Indomie telur kornet. Mie goreng, ya. Yamin, laksa. Ramen burger. I think the one who type ramen burger is the same person with the one who type rendang sushi. Yeah. You love very experimenting. And ramen, yeah, ramen. It's good. Okay, next question. In previous video, what cutlery is used by Rizka when eating noodles? Oh my God. Bare hand. Okay. Can you imagine I'm eating noodles with bare hand? Okay, that's very unpolite. Chopstick, fork, or straw. Can you imagine I eat noodles with straw? Okay, fork. That's true. Yay! Well, yeah. In Indonesian, people. Yes, I can imagine anything goes with Rizka. Thank you, Bu Tita. Yeah, actually, I want to eat my noodles with bare hand, Bu, but you know, I can't be like that in camera. Yeah, I'm a lady. I'm a lady here, so I'm using fork. In Indonesian, we are very common using spoon and fork as our cutlery. Yeah, okay. This is a pastel cake, which is influenced snack from various cultures. So this is pastel, kue pastel. True or false? This kue pastel is influenced from various cultures. I think this is yes. Yes, it's true. Kue pastel you can apa ya? Lo tuh bisa nemuin kue pastel di mana aja. Di Singapore, it called puff pastry, I guess. And in Brazil, also it called pastry or panada. Yeah, panada. Yeah, in Indonesian, the topping is usually contain bihun and eggs and chicken, and vegetables. Mbak Meriki, you have a word?
Yes, it's actually called curry puff in Singapore.
Curry puff in Singapore. I love curry puff. But curry puff have bigger, okay, never mind. Name a dessert that use coconut as the main ingredient. Except, I think mungkin maksudnya dessert that use coconut as main ingredient. Except, this is, the red one is like, yeah, putu mayang is like have some coconut sprinkle in the top, yeah. Kue putu, ya. Terus the blue one is klepon. Wow, this is very obvious. The yellow one, jangan dibocorin dong, Riz. Oh iya, lupa, Bu. The yellow one is tart. I don't know where is the coconut. Copper tart. Terus the green one is misro. Combro or misro. Yay! And the answer is yes, it's true. It's combro or misro. The tart is already contain coconut in the inside. This is a copper tart. Copper tart is, I think is the name. The origin name is kelapa tart. So copper tart. Copper tart. Yeah. The last question. Yes, the last question. Name the Peranakan food in Indonesia that you have tried. Peranakan food is the food that have Chinese influence in Indonesia. Have you tried this? Have you tried Peranakan food in Indonesian? I think in Singapore is very, very known, yeah. It's so many, I think. Yes, and the answer, and yeah, then your answer is, have you tried Peranakan food in Indonesia? The result, yay! Hainan, kopitiam, bakso, acar, pastel yamin, laksa, miss you. You're my ex, right? Get out. No. Hi. Miss you. Yeah, miss you too. Hainan. Yeah, laksa is originated from Asian, yeah. Pastel yamin, yeah, bakso, and kopitiam, yes. Indonesian also, we have kopitiam as well. Kopi Purnama, yeah. Yay! That's it. Let's see. Well, who is the winner? Wow! The winner from third position. Who are you, really? And the first place going to Buyati. Who are you? Thank you. Buyati, thank you. Rizka Hex, thank you. Lucy, thank you for joining us. Everybody, thank you for joining us today. Congratulations for all the winners. You guys will have the present from us, the book from JalanJajan. And today's donuts. Hello, Butita. And we will contact you to ask you the address. Okay, maybe that is Mama Riki. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you, Rizka. That was so much fun with Rizka. Thank you so much for bringing us on a food tour in Bandung. I'm really getting hungry now. Yes, the winner will get a prize, and especially for Rizka's ex, we will get a very special prize. Okay, before we close today's event, we are Tita Larasati is going to share with us, to give us a closing address.
Okay, thank you, Meriki. It's been a fun 2 days because actually this whole 2 days is an experiment of how we do the game virtually. And of course, you lose the experience of really smelling, touching, tasting the food. But now you have to use your imagination and maybe use your mobile app to order some if you really want them to have them delivered home. Um, I'm really grateful for the speakers because now we can see that placemaking can take in many forms. It can go to many scales, and it can provide different experience that we can also learn from each other. And I'm sure that while having this kind of connections, as especially during and post pandemic, there are lots of solutions that we can offer, that we can keep experimenting, then we keep adjusting in order to have a more pleasant life in a society with your friends and families, and of course the good food. So food is just an entrance to one connection to each other, but then we also have many other things that we like together, collective stories, narratives, and so on, that we can build together as a society. And especially this Placemaker e-weekend for the ASEAN region. Of course, we also have very many flavors and cultures and so on. So this is an endless resource that we can keep exploring, and also the history and so on. So I'm sure that in the next event we can have a more fun experience, and we can still exchange to each other and build nicely from there. Thank you, Meriki. Thanks all.
Thank you, Tita, for the closing address. Yes, so we don't stop here, but the discussion will continue somewhere else. So now that we are all connected, as the speakers remind us today that connection is very important. So I have posted in the chat box a few links to the speakers today, to their profile, to their projects, to their books. Please check them out. And yes, so before we close, let us take a group photo. Can the admin please take a photo for us? And how to put us on a grid view? Okay, yes. All right, ready? Ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, one more time. 3, 2, 1. Oh yes, Daliana just switched on her video. Hi, Daliana. Okay, let's take another photo. Yeah, 3, 2, 1. Done? Okay. Thank you so much for spending your weekend with us. We had a really good discussion, and we had a really fun adventure tasting and imagining the food in Bandung. Thank you so much for Rizka. Thank you so much for the speakers. Most of them has gone off because it's very late in the US. And thank you so much for the participants. And last but not least, I would like to thank Rizka and all the team behind JalanJajan who have worked so hard these few days to put together all the program so that we can join them